Stop me if you've heard this one before. It's 2001 and your family rents Shrek from Blockbuster. After watching the pinnacle of animation featuring 2-hit Smash Mouth songs, you glance over at the DVD case, a 2-disc special edition. When you pop the other disc into the tray, a whole new world of information floods your prepubescent mind. Behind the scenes features, interviews, and all the extras. This was the moment where you'd never just watch a movie again without first checking out the back of the DVD case, rating the quality of bonus features that are included. Interactive menus, director's commentaries, interviews, featurettes, and if you were lucky, an interactive game that was on par with the Flash game you'd find on Cartoon Network's old website. My example was probably pretty predictable considering that this isn't the first time anyone has thought that the menu for Shrek was a nostalgic memory for most people. Hell, I'm not even the first person to recall this collectively remembered scenario that I just made up. Lately, there's been a resurgence of appreciation for DVDs from this era. TikToks romanticizing that weirdly specific feeling of waking up at 3 a.m. to a DVD menu looping endlessly. There was something about that early 2000s DVD experience. Not just the movie itself, but everything surrounding it. Something that people remember collectively, almost on par with the liminal space trend. If you were chronically online during 2019 going into 2020, you'll remember the growing trend of videos of empty spaces. Spaces devoid of light set to ambient music, invoking the strange urge to return to simpler times or some kind of repressed memory in the back of your head. YouTube videos showing edits of different empty spaces. These were the litmus test for anyone's childhood memory. Memories of you not being conscious of the past or future, but in a state of complete liminality as a kid. The term liminal was coined by anthropologist Arnold van Gennep as a way to describe the transitional life stages where you were in a state of uncertainty and transformation, like getting a job or losing one, being in a relationship or losing a family member, or not getting a crucial item in your meal because you did drive-thru and you naively trusted a teenager making $9.50 an hour to place all the content you asked in the bag, something I'm sure everyone's experienced at one point or another. The internet would adopt the term and applied it to physical spaces that were either literal points of transition, undergoing some kind of change, or stuck in some decrepit or abstract limbo outside of daily life. The kind of spaces you pass through on your way to somewhere else. What actually counts as a liminal space is actually pretty nebulous when you try to understand the finer details, but for all intents and purposes, they're static places that if you can remember being at one point in time caught in a still moment, then it's a liminal space. Couple that with a strong sense of nostalgia and you have what people remember as rites of passages from their own childhood, as well as a compilation of TikTok edits of people vividly remembering the looping music on a DVD menu at a sleepover. Each DVD from the last 2 decades has some kind of uniqueness to it, or complete lack thereof, but even when the menu wasn't an overly animated labyrinth of spinning logos and glowing buttons, there was usually something else to make up for it when you were renting or buying a copy of something. You had maybe a commentary track, a few bonus features, and an actual hour-and-a-half long movie you could watch if you felt like it, but the one commonality among all DVD discs was the menu. To make a long story short, VHS was the champion of the format wars, beating out the higher quality Betamax and the incredibly expensive precursor to DVDs, the Laserdisc, by virtue of having longer recording space and being cheaper to mass produce. By the early mid-1990s, around 85% of American households had a VCR. But flashback about a decade earlier, during the late 80s, Warner Home Video under President Warner Lieberfarb, I think that's how you pronounce it, began pushing for a CD-like optical disc format that would be cheaper to produce than VHS's, and capable of holding higher quality digital video with even longer storage space, as well as not having to feel like you're holding a brick when you held it in your hands. Nicknamed Taz, yes, like the devil, during its early development, the idea aimed to blend the durability and compactness of CDs with the capacity needed for full-length films. Around 1995, Warner partnered with Toshiba to develop the format. At the same time, Philips and Sony were also working on a similar project, but eventually as a joint venture came together to build the DVD. Originally dubbed Digital Video Disc, later revised to Digital Versatile Disc after a bunch of higher-ups said it didn't reflect the other things that it could do, including data storage, software distribution, music, and what we'll see later, video games, which extend beyond just being able to store video.
Who owns it yet?
This has just been rushed out direct from Japan.
It seems strange now, but back in the 90s, the concept of the DVD had to be explained.
Looking exactly like a musical compact disc, it's a leap in technology that allows entire movies to be crammed onto a regular-sized CD and is expected to render the videotape obsolete.
They are the way of the future.
The DVD was officially dropped in Japan in December 1996, with movies like the director's cut for Blade Runner, Eraser, The Fugitive, and Assassins. On March 24th, 1997, the United States would have its first DVD release, with it being the movie Twister. The initial criticism was that VHS and DVDs were just the same thing, only more shinier and with less angles. Oh, how far we've come.
Oh my God. Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
Although given enough time, the quality and additional features won out. The picture was sharper and you didn't have to wait 10 minutes to rewind it. At the same time, the price of DVD players dropped. Rental stores like Blockbuster switched formats, and movie studios were now backing up the new trendy technology.
The demise of vinyl, it held about 45 minutes of music on one side. The CD holds around 70 minutes, while the DVD holds over 130 minutes, and all of that is in moving pictures.
The first players cost more than $1,200, but promised features we'd never seen before. No need to rewind.
Please rewind this cassette before returning it to your video library.
DVD players had the fastest take-up rate of any technology introduced into the Australian market. Everyone wanted one.
Not only were DVDs cheaper to manufacture and ship due to their smaller and thinner frames, but they were harder to copy and gave studios more control over region locking and release windows, which greatly helped with price control and content restrictions. Gone were the days of video nasties slipping under the radar. With DVDs, studios and distributors had tighter control over what was released and where. The format's many features offered itself to other mediums like music and games, which would help boost sales for the PS2. Most importantly, DVDs didn't wear out as fast as VHSs, which only had a lifespan of 10 to 25 years or less. Depending on how much you would watch it, it would cause the picture's quality to degrade, while DVDs had a lifespan of up to 100 years. Yes, you could now rewatch that one scene of Basic Instinct without having static obstructing your view, as well as having the convenience of being able to rewind with the click of your remote until both your hands get tired. Around the early 2000s, DVDs began to outsell VHS tapes. By 2003, DVDs became the main dominant format, and by 2006, movie studios would discontinue the production of VHS tapes.
And experts say within 10 years, the VCR will go the way of the old record player.
Channel 7's Paul Macon called it even earlier than that, staging a funeral.
Ah, sad but true. The VHS has gone to that big high-tech playground in the sky.
The last major Hollywood film released on VHS was A History of Violence. Yeah, that Viggo Mortensen movie. The introduction of DVD fundamentally changed how we saw media. From a physical standpoint, compare these two. The Final Destination VHS and DVD. The VHS is your standard fare, nothing too special. The DVD, on the other hand, comes with a lenticular cover. Okay, some VHS packaging of the movie came with a lenticular cover too, but back then it was the exception to have a slipcover look as novel as this at the time. The standard was just to have a cardboard slip. The DVD also comes with a chapter guide on the inside and a navigation for the special features, which included behind the scenes, making of, commentaries, deleted scenes, and a game that lets you know when you're gonna die. Oh no. Yeah, this was one of the more earlier iterations of the DVD case, which were made mostly of cardboard and plastic. Distributors tended to damage these, and the shelf life was low if you didn't handle them with about the same care you would with a disc. Which is why the standard case became what's called the Amory case. Quick side note, apparently the ones with the latches were meant to be anti-theft protection, although I always got the distinct impression that they were supposed to be the equivalent of child-proof locks. Sometimes you get a cool pamphlet that went into more detail of the behind the scenes of the movie you'd watch. You know, the pamphlet that comes with the movie only mildly makes up for the disc, feeling like it was a programmer's first time coding an interactive menu from the early 90s. This thing is like a cross between a poster and a pop-up book. You get background info on the book it was based on and the production hell that the movie went through, as well as the pamphlet serving as a chapter guide. Shouldn't that have been the tagline to Reeves' other movie that was actually called Speed? Can we just appreciate that the back of the pamphlet is the back of Keanu Reeves' head? Sometimes you'd get a catalog of other stuff you could order from the studio. The closest thing VHS had was an advertisement of stuff you could buy while watching the VHS's previews.
Hold it! Hold it right there! Let's see if you're really ready to watch this movie. Okay, popcorn? Check. Soft drink? Check. Warner Brothers ball cap? Aha! You can't watch a Warner Brothers movie without a Warner Brothers ball cap. A new Warner Brothers catalog. Use it to order your Warner Brothers ball cap. And while you're at it, you can order stuff like t-shirts, posters, movie books, ties. That's neckties. It's all in the catalog.
And if you were lucky, you'd get a coupon and some vouchers. Yeah, all of these are expired. How the hell was I even supposed to use this? Show up to the theater and hope the usher let me see the hit Disney movie The Haunted Mansion? And I'll be damned if I can't use this Papa John's coupon. There has to be some remote location willing to do business with me. Not all cases were created equal, though. Well, I got robbed. But all these bells and whistles were extensions of what came inside these boxes.
We'll be right back after these messages.
This is DVD. And this is what happens when you watch DVD. It's a movie on a disc the size of a CD. The picture is twice as sharp as VHS. The sound is infinitely clearer. It looks and sounds like you're at the movies, but you can experience it at home. Not to mention, you can watch it in widescreen, pick your language, choose from features like director's notes, behind-the-scenes footage, trailers, and more. Watch a movie right on your computer. And rent or buy DVDs from these great Hollywood studios. DVD. See how good a movie at home can be. With over 5,000 titles to choose from, make sure you see your next movie on DVD. Yeah.
And now, our feature presentation.
Whenever I get a new DVD, I make it a point to sit and watch the previews. There's something immersive about seeing what studios were pushing at the time the disc came out. Well, unless it's one of those DVDs that jumps straight into the movie the second you pop it in. Well, that's strike two on this thing.
This Disney DVD is enhanced with Disney's Fast Play. Your movie and a selection of bonus features will begin automatically. To bypass Fast Play, select the main menu button at any time. Fast Play will begin in a moment.
No, Tinkerbell, I will not click Fast Play. In truth, I'd always click Fast Play, mostly because the disc told me to. Goes to show that had the disc told me to do other stuff, I probably would have done that too. And every now and then, you get trailers for games. Never heard of this, but the cinematics kind of go hard.
Are you ready for the person of your dreams? The Bachelor, the video game. Based on the hit TV show, and featuring me, your virtual host, Chris Harrison, The Bachelor, the video game, coming this July.
Yeah, this speaks for itself. But what set most DVD copies apart if they didn't have previews or bonus content was the thing that would pop up almost half the time, the main menu screen. So, what is a DVD menu anyway? The main menu of a DVD is an interactive graphical user interface that allows the viewer to navigate the disc's content, like scene selection, bonus features, changing the language, or being able to add subtitles. This is the screen that comes up after the FBI warnings and studio logos. Which, side note, I always hated how unskippable those were. I remember hammering the remote skip button like it owed me money. Functionally, they're built using simple authoring software, something like Adobe Premiere Elements. What you're looking at is a collection of images or video layers stacked on top of each other. A backdrop, maybe some looping animation, a few clickable text elements, and an ambient audio in the background. The DVD player does very little in the entire process. The player is essentially a dumb computer that reads off the data that's on the disc. The interactive part, which when DVDs came out in the near beginning was what they were advertised as having, comes from designating certain objects as selectable. Your DVD remote allowed you to select clickable zones. Pressing OK activated whatever the highlighted item links to, whether that's the main film, bonus features, or another layer of the menu. At its barest bones, the menus were glorified PowerPoints, at least in the very beginning. Apparently the limitations at the time made it more difficult to design the layouts, which led to more creative output. As time went on, the technology that supported Blu-ray players, the disc formats, and TVs got better and allowed for more functions. But even within those basic limitations, there was a surprising amount of variation, creativity, imagination, and even artistry that these menus have. But not all menus were created equal.
Hey, yo, Stu, my boy Peter and I are watching this Sandler movie, That's My Boy. You gotta come check it out, man. It's amazeballs.
This is just the DVD menu.
Some were static, using just a JPEG of the movie poster. Sometimes they had music, or sometimes they didn't. Just silence and the available options. Aw, son of a... Others were animated with transitions, interactive Easter eggs, or characters talking directly to the viewer. Then you had ambient menus showing looping environments of scenes from the movie with minimal music or sound design. And finally, there was the trailer-style menus playing clips or a montage from the movie on a loop. What made these special was that they were often custom designed to reflect the tone and the world of the film itself, which would lead to a ton of colorful and varying degrees of menu layouts. One of the most infamous menus was for House of a Thousand Corpses. The main menu is set at the front counter of Captain Spaulding's roadside attraction, with Spaulding, played by Sid Haig, barking at you to hurry up and make a selection. He's fully in character, yelling at the viewer to either play the movie or pick one of the options.
Obviously all y'all is mutes, cause you wouldn't be with me now, would you? No. If you don't quit doing the asshole shuffle and pick one of these goddamn options, I'm gonna come over there and put my boot up your ass.
Watching it for the first time, you really want to just sit and watch how much dialogue they were able to actually film for this. The scene selection menu features Bill Moseley as Otis, delivering monologues into the camera while also reminiscing on certain scenes from the film.
Yeah, well, these here are the scene selections. I mean, you can jump ahead right now, you can cozy up, you can pick your favorite little scene, just kind of like a greasy fat hog waiting for the knife. But that chick about, Malibu with little middle-class fish boy on one side. No, what the hell? You can watch me, let's see. You can watch me, hey, slash that cheerleader. Now that was fun.
While the bonus features menu is hosted by Baby, played by Sherry Moon, teasing and taunting you in a performance that pretty much matches what she gives in the movie, and every other Rob Zombie movie.
Hi everybody out there in TV land. Welcome to the Baby Show. That's B-A-B-Y, for those of you that suck at spelling. Today on my show, I want to show you the special features.
And the setup menu? That one cycles through all three characters, each popping in and out, making the entire DVD feel like an extension of the film's twisted universe.
Okay, who am I now? Ready?
I don't know, Fish Boy?
Yeah, Fish Boy!
Watching this feels like they left the camera on and told the actors to riff while being in character.
Did you bring us fried chicken?
Hell, man, I got a truckload of fried chicken.
All right.
I hate to shit myself, but I love cooking it.
That's probably not what they actually did. I'm pretty sure Bill Moseley is reading off a script off screen. But everything seems so natural, as if the characters were actually acknowledging my existence from the TV, with Spaulding casually eating, reading high-class literature, Tim flipping me the bird.
Oh, turn-offs. Rude people. Violence. Clowns. Whore. What the hell are you all still doing here? What, are you in love with my ass or something? Well, why don't you just get up off that couch and come here and kiss me on my ass then? That's crass. Oh, well, fine. It is now official. You have just wasted most of my day. It's lunchtime already. Damn. You will excuse me, won't you? Well, thank you very much.
The effort they put into this, getting all three actors back in costume, in character, just for menu content, is probably more than what the movie actually deserves. Because, it's not that great a movie. It also says something that the people making the menus wanted to get all three actors for the scenes and have each one dress in their character's respective outfits. Although, if we're talking dedication to having an actor show up in their character's attire, so I only recently found out about this one a while ago, but I have to say, the menu's actually really creative in how creepy it is. It's not enough that once the screen goes black after the logos are done, I'm met with the creeper looking dead straight at me while he takes in sniffs at what I can only think is him smelling my fear. And it doesn't help that the rest of the menu is a bunch of impressions of people's faces being made behind one of the creeper's wings while jump scare music plays. All the while, the freaking creeper reaches out for me every few seconds. I like how the menu's options are also titled in the movie's theme. That was a nice attention to detail. I just want to put subtitles on. Is it appetizers or scream? Each option has its own ambient scene with the creeper apart from the scene selection. Bonus features has the creeper noticing one of his victims still alive and strangling him. The setup option has the creeper's silhouette playing with a decapitated head and doing other stuff to it. But if you play the menu, you're met with this scene. Had I seen this as a kid, I would have rightfully had nightmares. I do like how there are credits and behind the scenes pictures of the cast and crew making and shooting the menus, which you seldom ever actually see on most discs. As a kid, I always assumed that people who made the movies made the menus on discs, which is true some of the times, but I'm getting out of myself. Oh, we'll get to this person later. As far as fourth wall breaking menus go, on the opposite spectrum, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle is actually pretty funny.
Hey, Roldy, check it out. We're on DVD.
Are you serious?
Yeah, look at all those options down there.
Nice.
I especially like when Harold says,
Ooh. Better not be one of those lame DVDs where you click on the special features and all they got is the freaking trailer.
Huh.
As a kid, I would especially hate if the bonus content on the DVD was just trailers for other movies. God, would Harold be disappointed today. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself.
I thought, did we not agree? Did we not agree we'd never talk about that? It was cut out of the movie for a reason. There was a very good reason.
Right. Sorry, dude. That was my bad.
So what do we do now?
I don't know. I guess we just wait for them to pick an option and then we take them there.
Okay.
Just click on one of the options below.
I could show more. This goes on for about 5 minutes of them in a perpetual cycle of them driving while making comments about the viewer. Seriously, this one's underrated.
Anytime you're ready. But, just saying.
Come on, they got the DVD. Be nice.
I know, but the movie's more interesting than this.
This one's infamous for a different reason. On the DVD for Fight Club, you get what you think is an FBI warning, but upon further inspection is actually a written out lecture by Tyler Durden, with the screen becoming chaotic per the film's tone. On the Blu-ray, you're met with, oh, this isn't Fight Club. This is 1999's Never Been Kissed, starring Drew Barrymore and Sam Coulson. That's not right. Oh. Yes, you get a fake-out menu that leads into the actual movie's menu. Eventually, it glitches into the real Fight Club menu, with a rotating view of the narrator's IKEA apartment slowly morphing into Tyler Durden's squatter's house, with each furniture and item having a unique description. These things would run forever, literally hours. Some had full scenes, and some had characters just doing bits and loops. The Superbad DVD had Michael Cera dance for an entire hour until it looped around. The idea came from Evan Goldberg to intentionally program it as a weird flex.
Did you do an hour-long dance for the Superbad DVD?
I did. So that was Evan Goldberg's idea. Evan's a really fun and funny and weird guy. He was like, it was like right when Blu-rays were like starting to happen. He was like, with the Blu-ray, we can have a DVD menu that the menu screen can be an hour long and it won't loop. He was like, so I want you to dance for an hour so that somebody will watch the DVD menu waiting for it to loop, and it just like never will until after an hour. So I was like, great. And then so we did that like after a day of shooting. We went into this like studio at Sony with a green screen, and I danced for an hour nonstop.
The whole point of it, though, was to get people to watch Sarah dance for an hour till it looped. I'm not sure who has more dedication, Sarah dancing for a straight hour or the person who watches the menu until it loops back around. I also remember Finding Nemo having a pretty relaxing menu of Marlin's Sea Anemone House.
Okay, you got a lot of choices here. You can watch just the movie without the commentary.
I'm so excited! I've always wanted to see The Little Mermaid.
Good. Well, this is Finding Nemo.
Oh, well, that sounds nice too.
As well as Monster House, which just has the titular house breathing ominously while ambient wind howls. Yep, just the right amount of creepy for a kid's movie. Some other great ones are the Too Fast, Too Furious menu that allows you to choose which car the menu would take place in. Wayne's World looking like a cable TV screen complete with different channels. And pretty much the entire menu for Memento. Like, this thing has its own lore behind it. Personally, the menu I have the most nostalgia for are actually the 2000 Scooby-Doo movies. The best thing James Gunn has ever written. You just keep killing it, buddy. The first movie's disc had a graphic design that reflected the Spooky Island theme, and a song by Outkast playing behind it. The second movie had Scooby popping in and out of the Coolsville mine. Yeah, compared to the other ones I've described, it's not as impressive from a graphical standpoint, or even creative standpoint, but I have fond memories of watching them on loop and going through all the special features, and apparently I'm not the only one who shares that same sentiment. I also remember the X-Men's menu having the glitching FBI logo do a retinal scan on me, and taking me into Cerebro in all its PlayStation 2 model glory, as well as X-Men The Last Stand having the option to let me side with either the X-Men or the Brotherhood, and depending which one I chose, change the menu's color. Pretty much all the 2000s pre-MCU Marvel movies had a memorable menu, including the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, Daredevil, and Ghost Rider. I also have vivid memories of going through The Incredibles' entire disc 2 and listening to the audio interviews of all the background superheroes that were created for the movie, which wasn't needed but fleshed out the world of the film.
The files of the National Supers Agency are hereby sealed in accordance with the Superhero Restriction Act, banning all supers activity. These files contain highly classified information regarding the supers, their powers, weaknesses, and in some cases their secret identities.
Each character got a voice actor and detailed personality. Really drives home the weight of Syndrome murdering a bunch of people. This disc also taught me such things as what an affair was, and what a hangover feels like.
Platinum blonde.
It's white old lady hair. The cleaners.
This is not old hair.
Why don't you ask what you want to ask?
Are you having an affair?
Yeah, me and the old lady. One look at her laundry and I had to have her. Are you nuts?
Chief, spend a little money on your gear if you're gonna have a super in here, okay? And you, who are you? You know, I could be out solving crime at the very least. We're solving this hangover. Ow!
Yeah, I can see why they stuck this on disc too. Other ones that get frequently brought up are the Austin Power movies, the Bill Murray Garfield movie, and The Matrix. But the one that easily gets brought up the most are the first two Shrek movies. I've already mentioned Shrek's DVD menu, which had a loop of Donkey saying,
Oh, pick me! Oh, pick me! Oh, me!
Although it seems as though there's a general fondness for Shrek 2's menu, modeled after the Brady Bunch intro where Donkey suggests alternate titles for the movie.
Too fast, too donkey.
Just eat your goobers and shut your gob, okay?
How about Shrek 2? A donkey will rise on.
No. Give us a break.
Or something like Shrek 2, the Fellowship of the Donkey.
Please.
This close to glue.
2, the Donkey King. I like that.
Original.
This goes on for about a minute. Every other menu comes with its own animation transition. Is it weird that I thought as a kid these characters were alive and were in an infinite cycle of repeating the same thing over and over again? No? Just me? As a whole, every DVD menu I've mentioned was tailor-made by someone or a group of people. Some of the layouts might be the same, but each one has a fingerprint that ties it to the identity of the movie. So, why do people have so much nostalgia for these things?
You are watching the WB Channel 11.
Let me go in and say hi.
Hellboy, 3-disc director's cut DVD.
There are things that go bump in the night, and we are the ones who bump back.
Over 13 minutes of recut and extended footage, and tons of new bonus features. Also available, the Hellboy gift set, complete with 3-disc director's cut and an exclusive limited edition Hellboy statue. Get the 3-disc director's cut and gift set now.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
If it sounds like I praise the menus of the olden days, then this is the portion where I critique it. A quick look on Reddit shows that not everyone has a fondness for these menu layouts. Graphically, they can be hard to navigate. Animated transitions can seem tedious when you only want to watch the movie and feel like they take forever to get to the actual menu, or they try to be too creative and only hinder the ability to do anything at all. So what are these things really when you remove the nostalgia goggles? They're probably more novelties than anything else. Memento didn't need an over-elaborate system that let you watch the bonus features or see the movie in chronological order, and Harry Potter didn't need you to mix potions in order to see the movie. The concept of a main menu only exists as a way to access options that the studio bothered to include. It just so happens that there was some wiggle room in how creative they looked. So let's look at them from an artistic perspective. Graphically, DVD menus can be categorized as a form of collage, or more specifically, ephemerum. Things that exist or are used or enjoyed for only a short time, or items of collectible memorabilia, typically written or printed ones, that were originally expected to have only a short-term usefulness or popularity. These were fleeting bits of visual media created not to be admired but to be used. They were built under functional constraints and coding limitations, but that doesn't mean they lacked intent or purpose in how they were made. In fact, many of these show signs of actual design choices. Typography, sound design, environmental detail, even pacing. Someone somewhere had to make these decisions about all these design choices. While those decisions were often guided by studio mandates, they still resulted in a weird in-between space. Not quite a commercial, not quite an artwork. They're not by any means high art in the traditional sense, but they are, in a way, disposable art, on the same level as an early MySpace profile page, or what a high schooler would make on a PowerPoint if they were given creative freedom. Like I said, somebody had to make the menu with the movies in mind. Every creative choice is a window into the mind of somebody making these things. Someone had the idea to make a parody of the Brady Bunch menu as the layout for Shrek, and someone thought of every Easter egg that was interlaced in Memento's menu. Keep in mind that these were only designed to be experienced for maybe 30 seconds and then forgotten. It's ironic that they would stick in people's minds as kinds of masterpieces for their designs, but I think people mainly remembered them because they captured something transitional in the same way liminal spaces do. And when you think about it further, those main menus often invoke that same emptiness that liminal spaces have. Despite sometimes teeming with life, they can have the opposite effect. Devoid of any actual presence and feeling empty sometimes. By themselves, if you remove just the main menu from the movie it was attached to, you'd get a kind of purgatory. A scene that loops endlessly, waiting for a decision that may never come. Their space is built to transition you from nothing to something, but if you never press play, they just hang there, suspended. Trapped in a performance with no audience. They're both a beginning and a pause, a doorframe with no room on either side. As much as they're trying to sell you on the film you're about to watch, they also embody that same stillness, anticipation, and that quiet unease that the backrooms gives most people. A place that doesn't quite feel alive but isn't dead either. Mix that in with the nostalgia people from that era feel for these, it's understandable why they are remembered so fondly. In today's age, they are little ghost towns, a medium that's forgotten and only ever remembered when you play your copy of Shrek. And now we get to the part of the video where I get to show off my DVD collection. If we're talking about consistency, it's probably these movies. Do you want to play a game? No? Fine, I'll just play Uno by myself.
This Halloween. If it's Halloween. If it's Halloween.
It must be Saw. It must be Saw.
You will be put to the test.
I started collecting each Saw movie in my freshman year of high school, and I was not prepared for the roller coaster ride that this series' story had. Like, it gets soap opera levels of absurd, but somehow each movie took it so seriously, and I loved them for it.
Yes, I can see what I can do to lower that number. Yes, I would be happy to crunch those numbers. Just a moment, I'm very sorry. What?
I want to play a game.
Okay, well, I want to go home on time, so...
Your computer has been infected with a pornographic virus. In exactly 25 seconds, Jeff, the hot IT guy who you totally have a crush on, will arrive at your desk to fix it. You must close all 517 pop-ups using the office's deadliest computer mouse. The clock is ticking, Janine. Make your choice.
Of course, you have the first film's gnarly intro. Part 2's 3D model layout of Jigsaw's lair. Part 3's really creepy ambient menu with the options on a pale and probably dead arm hanging by a chain, with other swinging chains in the background. This one has no music, just ambient noises you'd hear in an abandoned warehouse. Yeah, don't watch this one at night. Part 4, my favorite one, which is just Jigsaw's corpse on a table pre-autopsy. I just like how it opens with a zoom out, starting from Jigsaw's torn throat. After the options are laid out on the screen, it's just ambient noises you'd hear from an autopsy room, complete with fluorescent light buzzing. Every now and again, you'll get Billy the Puppet saying a phrase that breaks up the ambiance. Part 5 also opens the same way as Part 4 with a dimly lit screen showing not Jigsaw? A test dummy for one of John's traps, then ending on the cube trap that was heavily marketed for the movie with the options overlaid on the front surface. Part 6 is actually a zoomed in portion of what I'm guessing is a Saw-like board game they made for the menu. When it zooms out, you actually see it's some kind of Monopoly style board game, which I thought was really clever. Part 7 differs depending on which format you get. The standard DVD has a timer on the screen, while Saw fills the entire screen until presumably the Saw reaches the bottom and the timer reaches 0, and you die, which starts the animation loop all over again. The Blu-ray, on the other hand, had more set dressing. Part 8 was more or less a trailer-style menu with a filter over it with music from the movie. Part 9 had a spiral with the movie's main theme over it. And lastly, Part 10, the most recent, had a trailer-style menu with a filter over it. It's almost like looking at all of these as a whole, you can see a specific design shift as time went on. In all seriousness, I also have fond memories of buying each movie and wondering what the menu would look like. Each one had a lot of design put into them that I really appreciate, including the later ones. Side tangent, I also enjoyed watching the opening previews for these movies. Since these were Lionsgate movies, I'd see a lot of early 2000s trailers for horror movies. What the hell is FearNet? I swear, these ads freaked me out more than the actual movie. Speaking of being freaked out, remember You Wouldn't Steal a Movie ad? Or those Truth ads? I just want to watch my copy of The Dark Knight. I wasn't looking to be lectured about pirating or smoking. Well, this is hilariously ironic. I'd say a close second to the same quality that the Saw movies had with the Final Destination movies. The first movie's menu had an airport terminal layout with signage that would tell you when a flight was delayed or cancelled, which would also reflect the airplane disaster and chaotic randomness of death using the butterfly effect to come after you. The second film's menu, which many people regard, is just a kitchen. Okay, it's not just a kitchen. Every now and again, the kitchen would transform or morph into being on fire, having blood in the sink. But the way the kitchen is centered, coupled with the pot on the stove, you get the impression that you, the viewer, are deaf looking at the kitchen for possible ways to cause unfortunate accidents for anyone about to walk in. The kitchen also reflects the running theme of the series, that death can be anywhere, including as a place as mundane as a kitchen. Part 3 has shots of the roller coaster accident overlaid with music from the film. The third film's entire disc is wild. I recommend this video for more in-depth analysis on it. Parts 4 and 5 just have a still image. No music, just nothing. They came this close to being on Saw's level. Yeah, when Bloodlines gets some kind of media release, I suspect it's gonna follow in Saw's footsteps, or worse, continue parts 4 and 5's menu trend. At the end of the day, the DVD menu was only meant for you to get hyped up for what you were about to see. Hooked to draw you in before the movie began. A curated mood setter tailored to each movie. But looking back, these menus did more than just set you in the mood. They were an experience almost everyone had. Reflecting on the more unique ones and comparing and contrasting the more outlandish ones with the ones that had the most basic effort put into them really shows how much we took them for granted. So, what happened?
Enter a new world of home entertainment where the movies look sharper, the action feels closer, where the movies you want and the games you play are on Disney Blu-ray High Definition.
Everything changes.
It's the ultimate cinematic experience with superior full high-definition picture with up to 6 times the resolution of DVD and superior full high-definition surround sound.
Perfect!
Plus, Blu-ray's protective layer resists scratching. And Blu-ray discs play on PlayStation 3 game systems.
Wow.
And with innovative bonus features, get more Disney magic.
Alright!
And more of your favorite movies than ever before. Disney Blu-ray. Hey! Magic in high definition.
The season premiere of Angel is just moments away.
This is the menu for the Lego Movie. Nothing special. The icons on each option doesn't even fit thematically with the image above it. They look like something someone pasted from a stock photo. This came out in 2014. This is the menu from Mad Max Fury Road. Functional but uninspired. This came out in 2015. This is the menu for Companion. This came out in 2025. This has no music. It has a screenshot from the film, and for some reason, it doesn't even have an option for scene selection. The movie Hard Eyes, which I thoroughly enjoyed when I saw it the weekend it came out, looks like this. I was already disappointed when I saw the case cover art. I mean, they couldn't do anything other than just this. I mean, I was hoping for something that I could pair with my 2 copies of My Bloody Valentine. I don't even want this on the same shelf as these two. At the very least, I get a commentary track and a few features, but even then, it doesn't completely make up for the lazy effort that went into this. So if you actually bother to buy a physical copy of a movie, you'll see that the menu is almost always this. A poster or image of the movie with the bar with the options somewhere on the screen. You'll be lucky if you'll get bonus content. For that, you'll have to buy the Blu-ray. If it even has more than 2 making ofs that last about 5 to 10 minutes. The absence of bonus content aside, this has become the standard for any menu. Me and my acquaintances meet up to watch episodes of Star Trek TNG on the original discs. The first few times we would see the menu, we'd always talk about how menus this nature don't really exist anymore, which in turn inspired me to make this video essay. In doing research on why we have such a graphical shift, I found a few reasons. Reason number 1, time and money. One of the things I came across writing this expose is an article talking about the production and process that went into some of the menus I described earlier. Specifically from one motion designer named Thomas Fletcher, who, if you remember the Jeepers Creepers 2 menu I talked about earlier, had a hand in making it. He was also one of the faces that actually appears on the Creeper's wing. Apparently what they did was have Fletcher's face pressed up against the giant sheet of latex to achieve the effect. During the 90s, Thomas Fletcher would create packaging for VHS tapes until he got an LA-based job at a design company that specialized in making DVD menus. The article mentions his work on several other menus, like how he shot a dancer for the menu for Die Another Day, or worked with the actual Marauders map that was used in Harry Potter and the Prisoners of Azkaban to map out the elaborate menu for that film, or how he worked with Tim Burton to design the menu for Big Fish. If you've ever watched the credits until the very end on some of your discs, you'll be met with one of these logos. In the early 2000s, designing DVD menus was a real job, often farmed out to specialized studios like DZN or Deluxe Disc, all with the task of menu design, animations, subtitle track syncing, and authoring the final file structure for replication and distribution. Elaborate Easter eggs like the one for The Lord of the Rings, where you got to see a special clip, you could only find by clicking the right frame at just the right time. That kind of effort takes time and money, and both those things are measured in budget. The more elaborate the design, the more hours logged. The more features, the more time is dedicated to quality assurance. The more animations, the more time it would take to model and render. Want to shoot additional footage using the actors from the film? Good luck trying to coordinate that now. Over time, all the costs that went into this became unnecessary, at least in the eyes of the studio. And we all know how cheap studios can be these days. Bigger studios will often code their discs in-house in order to have full control over cost, time, and overall quality control. Penny pinching aside, the reason studios cut down on effort for menus, from what I could find, is that most people were more interested in pressing play movie than looking at anything else. Reason number 2, standardization of authoring tools. Eventually, studios realized they could save time by using pre-existing templates. I pointed out how most menus look the same on multiple releases. Background image, floating options, and maybe music from the film's soundtrack. Rinse and repeat. And so we began to see what I've dubbed the basic B menu aesthetic. Everything sanded down to match a neutral tone that is completely and utterly inoffensive. They've come full circle and went back to what they were in the very beginning. A simple screen with options. As a whole, this wasn't just limited to DVDs. Culturally, the entire design world began marching towards the same homogenization. Logos losing their detail. Apps back then looked like this. Now they look like this. Several logos for companies have gone the way of corporate minimalism. Designs today are simple now. Cleaner, sterile, cheaper, faster, and more mobile in our quick-paced world, which leads me to reason number 3, cultural shift. The truth of the matter is, in today's age, most people don't care. Designing a menu was an artistic perk, not a necessity. And we live in a world where attention spans are shrinking and convenience is king. Studios aren't going to invest in a feature most people skip. Most importantly, if the interface isn't utilitarian, then you lose people's attention. Well, let's compare these two. The Haunted Mansion DVD from 2003 and Disney's Haunted Mansion from 2023. The 2003's HM movie's main menu has an opening cinematic tracking shot that ends when we see the movie's mansion. We have looping animation of thundering weather, ambient lighting that comes from within the mansion, and animations of ghosts flying and appearing in and out of the mansion. The 2023 menu looks like this. At the very least, they had an animation and put ambient lighting. And they even incorporated a stretching portrait in there, so that counts for something. But already, these two are worlds apart. Not to mention the 2003's disc has different menu backgrounds for each option, including the busts that follow you, the mansion's wallpaper, and the changing portraits from the ride/movie, while 2003's just stays on this single background. Not to mention how many bonus features comes with the 2003 Haunted Mansion movie, which include 2 making-up featurettes, a virtual walkthrough of the movie's mansion, 1 deleted scene, an outtakes reel, 2 commentary tracks, a music video by Raymond Simone, and thorough instructions on how to get my copy of the Haunted Mansion insured. The 2003 DVD doesn't have any bonus features. If you want that, you're going to have to shell out some serious FastPass money to get the Blu-ray just to get about half of what the 2003 disc had. I know at this point I've compared and contrasted the older discs and the modern discs to death. But my point being, there's an obvious streamlining of user interface for more convenience and allocation to a format that's more favored than the other. Also, I wanted an excuse to talk about the 2003 Haunted Mansion DVD. Am I biased? Nope. I just really wanted to talk about the Haunted Mansion. The bottom line is people aren't going to spend the time clicking through the bonus features section, let alone bother to care to look past the play movie button option on the screen. So when people say that DVD menus used to be better back then, it's worth considering if they actually were, or if we just had more patience back then. And finally, reason 4, decline of physical media.
Airing ages ago. Why is PBS sending another crew?
We're getting bonus footage for the DVD.
Nobody buys DVDs anymore.
And now we've come to the biggest reason of them all. We live in an age of streaming services. The Digital Entertainment Group, or DEG, reported between 2014 and 2024, DVD and Blu-ray sales dropped 90%. Approximately 88% of US households have at least one subscription to a video streaming service. In doing research, I came across a Reddit thread that said that when making a DVD, Edgar Wright has to beg for it to be loaded with content. I couldn't find an official source on if he actually said that, so take it with a grain of salt. But considering how some directors will touch base with the department that handles the programming of discs for physical releases, it's not entirely unbelievable that he'd go out of his way to ask them to put some thought into the presentation of how it looks. The closest thing that we have to menus are the ones that we see on Netflix, which only serves to be utilitarian. Again, our world moves fast and we need the convenience. In an article I read for this video, I found that the market for physical media is a dying one. In that same article, it read this, quote, that even as movies live on in afterlives as digital ghosts, their menus never evolved for that streaming era. This isn't a call to arms. I'm not here to launch some grand campaign to revive animated DVD menus from the depths of obscurity. If anything, this was more of an autopsy. A look back at a fleeting, strange form of visual art that lives in people's memories. And TikTok edits. The days of having something so ununiformed have sailed. And maybe for good reason. Things have to evolve to survive. The medium of movies is never going away. Just the availability in which you can access them. And despite most people exclusively using streaming services, there's been a small and growing number of people who have issues with them. The main one being how services tend to remove movies or completely omit exclusive shows that aren't available on any format outside their service. As a result, cinephiles have taken back to shopping for movies at second-hand places, or making their own streaming service to stream their own collection of media.
Guys, check it out. My own personal DVD player and 20 movies.
I'm not expecting change, and I'm not naive enough to think that some new wave of interactive menu design is on the horizon. That ship has long since sunk beneath the oceans of autoplay trailers and endless scroll bars. Credit to the people who actually made these things back then. The creativity and passion was definitely something that could be felt when you popped the DVD in the player. And for what it's worth, there are people who are dedicated to uploading these pieces of media on YouTube and other places on the internet in an effort to archive them. So although it might be a dwindling format that's slowly going extinct, it's enough to remember that they used to exist. Nostalgia comes and goes when it wishes, but as people remember that looping audio of Donkey saying, then it's always going to be around. And to show my support for physical media, I've decided to put this entire video on DVD.
1 week later.
After much deliberation and several failed attempts, I am sad to report that this video will not be available on DVD. Instead, it's now streaming because of course it is. Maybe if you squint, this video will feel like you rented it from Blockbuster.